So this morning we are departing for Kubu Island, breaking up camp. A bit of work ahead to get this done and get all those things into there. So my habit of spraying doom into the tent every night before we go in netted a candidate. I don't think it's a good idea to have spiders and other creepy crawlers in the tent because the bite can just be nasty.
I was surprised to see Dani wearing his birthday boots on such a cold winter's morning, but apparently that's how he rolls.
So, ready to roll out of Letlhakane, this campsite here. It was an awesome one. And now we're going to go to Harappa for breakfast and then from there to Kubu Island.
So this truck was donated to Letlhakane village in celebration of the 50th anniversary of Botswana's independence, but it's also symbolic of the mining operations that are the cornerstone of Botswana's economy. So Botswana has diamond mining, which is the main driver of the economy, but they also have gold and coal and nickel and copper and salt and soda ash, which is also part of that, and also trying to diversify into other things.
So we're getting to the end of the tar section, and here our journey to Kubu Island begins. 45 kilometers. This is the route to the island, and they say it takes about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, just 45 kilometers on just gravel, and then eventually sand, and then salt pan, ancient salt pan from millennia ago when it dried up. So we're on this road now, sandy, get to the viewpoint. We get to the viewpoint. We'll deflate the tires and then proceed. So we've come to the viewpoint here on Pan. This part of the Mahadi pans, and right in the background, but very difficult to see, is that white strip is Pan, and on Pan is where Kubu Island is found. We are in sand. It's almost like talcum powder. It's just simply like talcum powder. Unbelievable. The road is deeply rutted in some areas, and when you fall into the donga, you struggle to come out.
We've hit the salt pan, and as you can see, there's grass on both sides of this track that we're on. Now, over the millennia, since this lake dried up to form this pan, sand has been blown onto this, and because grass has got short roots, it was able to grow on here because there's enough sand content. But notice that there are no trees in this area. There are the parts where there are trees, there's more sand built up there, but not just here. You'll also see that there are tracks next to this track. Now sometimes people ride there. During the summer months it rains here, and this salt sand content becomes quite gooey, and people a bit more adventurous, they kind of want to go there for some reason. But if you break through the crust, you break through right up to your axles, and if that happens, it is quite a job to get yourself out of that. In fact, you would need help. I don't know if this is the curvature of the earth that we're looking at here. It certainly seems so to me, but who knows. So here we're coming up to Kubu Island, just here ahead of us. You can see some baobab trees there on the left side. We were told that we can camp anywhere we find an open spot. Now the last time we were here, there wasn't a place for a mouse, so I suppose it's not so busy this time around. So the scene is set for a good camping situation. We've set up our tent and our beds and so on. We're still busy unpacking. The fire is made. Things are happening. There's our fire, and this is the surrounding.
So it's just about, sun is just about leaving for the day. We have some beautiful baobab trees as well. The island is covered in them, all shapes and sizes. So there's our baobab sunset for those interested in that kind of thing. That's it for today. Tomorrow we break down the camp and then we take off to Elephant Sands at Nata. There we go. This morning, just after sunrise here on Kubu Island, just going some baobab hunting. A bit late now to get some baobabs silhouetted in the sunrise, but let's give it a bash anyway.
Okay, so while we go in search of some big baobabs, perhaps we should talk a little bit about this island and how it happens to be here. Now there are many rock formations or rocky outcrops scattered all over the area that once occupied the that was once occupied by Mmatshumo Lake. Now this ancient lake is purported to have rivaled Lake Victoria for size. So we're talking, say, around about 300 kilometers long, 200 kilometers wide, quite a big lake. And of course, not all the islands on the lake could support baobabs such as these here on Kubu Island. Kubu Island is, of course, the most well-known of all the islands on the, on the old lake or on the pans. And we'll go and look at another one in the next few days when we are at Elephant Sands. Anyway. Some of the baobabs here are estimated to be many hundreds of years old, and in fact some of them are a few thousand years old. They don't have annual rings like normal trees, so you can't do the normal test where you count all the rings to determine the age of the tree. Anyway, to the east of the island you can see tracks heading off into the salt pans, and you get many intrepid off-roaders exploring both their driving skills and also the stark expanse of the pans, where you just see pan in all directions against the bright blue sky. Now, if you look at some of the satellite imagery, you'll see tracks that actually end in sweat and toil. You can see where people actually got stuck on the pans. And I've said it before, the crust of the salt pans is not always able to hold the weight of vehicles, and then they break through to the gooey mud that's underneath, from the last rainy season. So even the best mud terrain tires that are supposed to flick the mud off as they spin are no match for the goo that sits under the crust of a salt pan. In fact, it is both sticky and slippery at the same time. So you end up in a situation where you begin to explore the limits of both your tenacity and your patience. So here we are now. Here's a tree that is now very close. Oh man, that's looking so good. It's quite a big tree, that. Anyway, we'll take a closer look at that tree.
Well, this is an old baobab. It's quite a big tree, the humongous trunk. And there's another one yonder. I said I was going to go and make some coffee, but I got distracted. Here are some more deposits that look like they could be the guano they were talking about. And if it is, then you can see stacks of it. So this island would have been teeming with waterbirds in those days. So there's the pan all around this island. Obviously it's not an island in the true sense anymore, given that the water disappeared millennia ago. Okay, a quick one. We've broken up camp and we are on our way. We are packed. The camp is clean. Leave only prints, no rubbish.